just want a rich life. So as many of you know, I am a huge fan of Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich podcast. I've read his book, I've seen his Netflix show, and a few months ago I actually was on his website and I was going through his, I think it was like a rich life checklist or some sort of online, page that took you through modules of how to design your rich life. And I was recently looking back on it because I was on a work trip in Seattle this past week, and it also happened to be the same night that Ramit Sethi was doing a live event there. So I went there this past Thursday and it was a lot of fun. Since I'm also stranded here in Seattle because of the CrowdStrike outage, why not just make a video about that? Also, sorry if there's bad lighting, it's a hotel room. Maybe I should move, honestly. What the heck? Okay, sorry about that. There were just kids like running in the hallway and then also banging on doors for some reason. I also thought this would be a better angle, so let's go on. Okay, so the first step in the process basically was asking, what is your rich life vision? And this is my list of rich life vision items. So number one, and this is kind of a more recent development, is that I want to go to 30 countries before I turn 30. I figured I had 17 countries under my belt. So I was like, maybe I can do 30 under 30. I don't know. I'm gonna be a little bit more proactive about getting to that number, but I don't want it to come at the expense of essentially rushing trips or, diminishing the value of every trip that I take. So I want to be very intentional with that. I've already made a list of countries that I think I could go to and essentially reach that goal. So that's the number one thing I want to do. The second one is learn Cantonese. I actually started to this year because I downloaded the Pimsleur app. I've never used an app like that before. If you guys are interested, I do have a link in the description box below. But so far so good. I will say I love that it helps me practice speaking. The only thing that's a little hard for me is because it's not like kind of like a real live human teacher, is that sometimes I'm not 100% sure how things should be pronounced because certain recordings pronounce a word slightly differently than in a different recording. So that's a little bit confusing, but I do want to at least learn enough so that when I go to Hong Kong this year, I can somewhat understand what's going on. Number 3 is plan trips for and or with my parents. So we are going to go to Hong Kong this year, but I think I want to make it a bigger part of my life moving forward, especially because they don't get to travel too often. So I definitely want to be more proactive with that and also contribute what I can to make that happen for them. Number 4 is I don't want to worry about overspending during my trips, because sometimes you land in a new country, you're excited, you want to go to all the good restaurants, you want to go buy some souvenirs like sweaters or whatever, and I definitely do that, and sometimes I overspend. So I want to go on trips without worrying about overspending on things like that. Typically I do budget every trip, but it's like bound to happen that I spend a little more than I budgeted because I don't give myself a lot of slack or decent contingency fund for each trip, because I tend to be so detailed. And so when things happen that I don't expect, it's like, okay, well now I'm over budget. So I don't want to have to worry about that. Number 5, visit family and friends without a financial limitation. So like last year I went to Ecuador and I finally saw my family in Ecuador after like 8 years. So I want to do that more often without worrying about how much it's going to cost. I want to visit my friends who live in different states without worrying about how much it's going to cost. At this point, I would be okay if vacation days is my only limitation, but I don't want to be financially limited for a visit that isn't like this huge trip, I don't want to have to worry about spending on restaurants, both in my day-to-day life or on trips. I have $100 restaurant budget right now every month, and I tend to go over it. So I do miss out on eating out with certain people. Sometimes I just honestly don't feel like eating out. I enjoy eating at home, but I want to try new restaurants, and sometimes the restaurants I want to try are like, $50 plus meals for me and whoever else I'm eating with, I'd like to spend 1 month in Paris, probably by the time I'm 32. If I can do it within my 30 under 30 countries, that would be great. But that's something I've been thinking about forever. Like, I just want to like live a Parisian lifestyle for a bit during my life. At some point, I just want to do that. And then the 8th one is I just want to reach Coast Fire by 40. I'm definitely gonna reach Coast Fire by 40, okay? In every net worth update video, the age is less than 40. I think it's like 34 right now. It's probably gonna get lower as I continue to invest more and update my yearly financial goals. So I'm not too worried about that. I just want to reach it, and I'm not going to stop investing, as I said in my last video. I just want to make sure that I'm at that point. So if I do want to like do Barista Fire or whatever, like I have the option to do that if I want to, but I don't need to. The next thing that the module essentially asked me to do was to build a rich life map. And so there are different areas in that map, and it asked you to detail what rich life looks like in those areas. So I'll give you an example of some of them. Friends and family. So I want to spend more time with them, go out to eat, do fun experiences together, go on trips together, and everything has to be debt-free. The next one's experiences and adventure. 1 month in Paris. I'd like to visit bouldering gyms in different cities, which I have been doing. If I'm in a city and I know that there's a bouldering gym and I know that I have time to go visit, I will do it. I will buy the merch when I'm there, and it's just a fun experience. I already have 3 shirts from different bouldering gyms, one from Copenhagen, one from Mesa Rim in San Diego, and then more recently on this trip I was in Richland, Washington, and I went to Rock Shop, and I got their merch there. So I'm gonna keep doing that. Maybe I'll go to another one today because I'm in the Seattle area now, and there is a gym near me. So while I'm waiting for my flight, maybe I'll bring my luggage over to the climbing gym. I also want to, again, try new restaurants without guilt. Health and fitness. So that would also involve me getting whatever gym membership that I want if I want to try something. But most importantly, I want to be consistent. I want to reach a V6 or V7 grade in climbing. I don't want to have joint pain. I don't want to have any injuries. So I think I want to add to this, because of course I finished this a couple months ago, but more recently I've been wanting to explore getting like a massage membership or a spa membership. That would be a part of my monthly budget, and it's part of health and fitness because I want to make sure that I'm recovering correctly. I'm also spoiling myself a little bit, but because I keep getting injured so much, they're all different injuries too. So it's like I learned from a previous injury, but then I injure something else that I have never injured before. So that's exciting. Hobbies and personal expression. I would love to build a positive community towards frugality and finance among millennials, Gen Zs, whatever. I just want to make sure that as I'm making these videos, putting them out into the world, that they're helpful to someone. You know, I do a lot of budget videos and net worth updates, and for me, they're okay, but I feel like I'm publishing them and they're not really doing anything because I don't understand I don't really think that talking about my numbers is that impactful to people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do want to make more videos that genuinely help other people, that isn't just, you know, an example of what I do. And I realize this video is definitely an example of things that are important to me, but I think it is useful in terms of, you know, bringing awareness to thinking about your rich life and thinking about what you want to do now and until or after retirement. So if this does help someone, I will be very grateful. Giving. Right now I am contributing to my parents' mortgage payoff, but once that is, I guess, complete, I would like to continue taking opportunities to give back to a community, a charitable cause, or even just friends in need. I have had the opportunity to do that in the past, but I would like to increase my spending on that. So my money dials are spending money on travel, spending money on experiences. Best money I have spent in the last 6 months is, number 1, my Pimsleur membership, my trips to London with my 2 best friends from high school. It was amazing. And I recently got tickets to go see Griff and Sabrina Carpenter. So those are concerts that are coming up, but I've been wanting to see Griff so badly ever since I you know, started listening to her music. If I could quadruple my spending on this, I would book a flight probably every other month, stay in nice hotels, do a bunch of excursions. I would also look up tour dates for some of my favorite artists, especially international artists, and maybe organize a trip around those dates. With that, I've told you guys about my rich life, so I would love to hear about your guys' rich life. Please be as specific as you want. I really look forward to reading your comments. Thank you guys, and see you next time.